For someone who isn't all that crazy about anime, I f***ing love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yes. Oh my god.
It all started 5 months ago when I lost that bet to my brother. Originally, I was supposed to watch Attack on Titan, but pouring hot coffee on my lap sounded like a better idea. Instead of giving myself third-degree burns, I reached into the far depths of my brain and searched for an alternative. And after a quick brain blast, I landed on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. For context, I grew up with Dragon Ball Z, and I later fell in love with the first season of One Punch Man, so I acquired this very unusual taste for anime. And the thought of watching something as serious as Attack on Titan didn't sound like fun. JoJo, however, looked like a blast, and when I saw the first few episodes of Stone Ocean with no context, it piqued my curiosity. So after I completed my own JoJo speedrun and caught up on the lore, it definitely had my attention. Now look, I could easily sit here and drone on for hours about JoJo, but you clicked on the video to hear about Stone Ocean's ending, so that's what we're going to talk about. One of the most fascinating aspects about Stone Ocean's ending is what it does for the future parts of JoJo like Steel Ball Run, JoJolion, and soon JoJo Lands. The universal reset at the end of Stone Ocean simultaneously opens and closes 2 doors. On one hand, we have the conclusion to the entirety of JoJo as a whole, and on the other hand, we have the beginning of something beautiful. In his afterword at the end of Stone Ocean, series creator Hirohiko Araki said the following: "I normally think that feelings like a sense of satisfaction or personal realization are extremely scary. Finding yourself in a situation where you think everything is going well and you don't need to do anything more is without a doubt a terrible situation, as a person and as a mangaka. But also if we think about society and the development of science, philosophy, art, and culture in general. People act to achieve something, to obtain satisfaction above all else. But what do they do when they reach it? This contradictory feeling crept up in my heart while I was coming up with an ending for Stone Ocean. Jolene Cujoh, our protagonist, felt a deep void in her heart too, because she was missing the paternal love that brought her to befriend the shady guy that caused her to be imprisoned after causing a car accident. But what's important is the progress she makes because of that. Because of the action she has to do to save her father, she becomes the strong woman that she is. If we look at this story as a telling of the protagonist's growth, her story is ended. So now what should I do for the accomplishment of this manga? In other words, I don't have anything more to draw. It's over. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure has reached its summit. This is Stone Ocean. The end. If we take his words literally, then yes, this is the end. Stone Ocean is the conclusion to that era of JoJo. Ultimately, Father Pucci achieved his goal and reset the JoJo universe as we know it. Soon after, Emporio went goblin mode using Weather Report's stand and reset the universe once more. But this time it was remade into a wonderful world where Jolene's life wasn't affected by the curse of the Joestars. Similar to the JoJos that came before her, Jolene was enslaved by fate to fight a battle she inherited from her bloodline. And after the second universal reset, she was reborn as Irene and was no longer bound by fate. Since Irene in this universe never had her own bizarre adventure, the name Jolene wasn't necessary anymore because she isn't a JoJo. Despite the name change, Jolene's spirit still lives on through Irene, and in the newly formed universe, she was liberated from fate's curse and made whole by having the parental love she always desired. Regarding other characters like Hermes and Anasui, they too were able to live better lives. Based on the reset, it's safe to assume that Hermes' sister was never killed by Sports Max, and that Anasui never became a murderer.
In order to protect Jolene, I'm gonna have to kill that fucking priest!
Evidently, Irene and the gang also have no knowledge of what transpired in the original universe, and Araki foreshadows this earlier in Stone Ocean with the death of Foo Fighters. Before FF's soul can float away, Jolene begs her to wait until she retrieves her memory/stand disk from Pucci, but FF reminds her that even though it will be FF, it won't be the FF they know because it doesn't have the same memories or experiences that the original FF did. F's in the chat. Similarly, the JoBros themselves are the ones who eventually suffer from this unfortunate fate. Even though they get to live on in the new Tangent universe, they obviously have no recollection of what transpired in the original timeline. Therefore, when Emporio is transported into the wonderful world, he cries knowing their sacrifices weren't in vain, and because they all placed their trust in him in the original timeline, his friends were fated for a better life in this new universe. The cherry on top of Stone Ocean's ending was hearing Roundabout once more to solidify the end of this current era of JoJo. Harkening back to parts 1 and 2, we roundabout the journey by playing one of the most recognizable songs from the series, celebrating all 6 parts as the credits roll. It's a bittersweet ending that not only benefits the characters, but Araki himself, because he wrote an ending that gave him more wiggle room to do something fresh for part 7. Like Araki mentions in the Stone Ocean afterword, he wanted to leave the modern times of JoJo and return to nature, citing the Italian Renaissance as an example. In French, Renaissance means rebirth, and Part 7, Steel Ball Run, is essentially a reboot that jumps back in time to the sprawling landscape of America for a cross-country horse race. Naturally, most reboots and reimaginings can often feel pretty tiresome in my opinion, especially in today's day and age, but Part 7 tried something new, and it's genuinely one of the most engaging pieces of fiction I've read in a long time. It tastefully reuses many characters and themes and makes them feel new again. Johnny Joestar, for example, is Jonathan Joestar by name, but he's not the same character we knew from Phantom Blood. Same goes for Diego Brando, who is Dio by name, but simply a homage to the character that came before. Gyro Zeppeli also feels like a combination of Will and Caesar Zeppeli, acting both as a friendly rival and a mentor figure for Johnny Joestar. Even minor characters like Avdol and von Stroheim are briefly referenced, but don't have much importance to the overall story. Coming from a newcomer and from someone who doesn't regularly read manga, I highly encourage you to check out Steel Ball Run if you've only seen the anime. In closing, if it wasn't for the universal reset at the end of Stone Ocean, Steel Ball Run wouldn't have been possible. This is mainly why I love the ending of Stone Ocean so much, because it gave Araki more creative freedom to continue and enhance the lore of JoJo outside the original universe. Although it'll be a while before we see Steel Ball Run in the form of an anime, I'm still really excited to see it come to life. The only thing that destroys any and all hype for Steel Ball Run is the Netflix release schedule.
Son of a bitch!
If you've made it this far, thank you so much for sticking around till the end. If you like what you saw here, sit on that like button and consider subscribing. I normally don't talk about anime, but I wanted to make an exception because I'm going to be on this JoJo kick for a while, and I'm almost finished Steel Ball Run, and I may or may not make a video discussing my thoughts. Let me know if that's something you guys would like to see. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Arrivederci.